hope you're having a wonderful day. It's Mac with 9B4 and the family, and today, well, we're in Barcelona. And we're going to start out today at what is the most exciting part of Barcelona, which is Sagrada Familia. I don't speak Spanish, guys. I'm going to give it a go, but check this out. The Sagrada Familia dominates the skyline in Barcelona and is easy to see from almost any vantage point within the city. The unfinished cathedral, designed by the architect Anthony Gaudí, is a beautiful, magnificent example of Catalonian modernism. It is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, designated in the year 1984. The cathedral is easily the most impressive structure in all of Barcelona. The architectural design is so unique, with the pillars and columns that appear to be growing out of the very earth as trees and branches and limbs. It is so organic in look and appearance. Tree branches, limbs, beehives, wasp nests, these are all the things that come to mind as I look around the cathedral because they're just so organically designed. Okay, so we paid to go up in the towers. However, Matthew's too young. His birthday's not for 5 days. He's only 5. You have to be 6, so he can't go in. Blair stand down on the first level with him, but me and the big 3, we're going to take the lifts and go up to the top of one of the towers here.
We will be going up the elevator up to nearly the top, 65 meters. When you decide to go down and finish the visit, you have to go down the spiral staircase. It is a little bit long, kind of narrow, but in my opinion it's quite charming, very classical. Now, at the top you will have sights to many sights to the city and the sea from 70 meters up, as well as you will get access to the bridge between 2 towers. This is the best place to take photos like this.
The top of the tower is tight and cramped, but the views of Barcelona are absolutely magnificent. You can see how the city is laid out on a very tight grid pattern with the wide avenues and perfectly straight lines. So here in between 2 of the towers, here's one tower here, and here's the other tower here behind me, is this tiny little causeway, and you get these beautiful views over Barcelona. One of the cool things about being in this tower is actually walking up the steps, because you take a lift half the way up, and then the rest of the way you actually have to take steps.
Oh, I saw green.
We're heading down this spiral staircase. It's kind of good then that Blair and Matthew didn't come up. This would have been pretty challenging for Matthew being under 6. As you can see, this spiral tower is actually hollow all the way up to the top. So as you guys know, I visited numerous cathedrals at this point. Lincoln Cathedral, Peterborough Cathedral, the beautiful cathedral in Amiens. But I tell you, this is the most intimate experience I've ever had with the cathedral, because I really feel like we're in this one. You can see the walls here and the walls here as we go down this spiral staircase. Like, you're really into this one. You can definitely see where it's still under construction. There's a lot of construction going on. And again, the fact that they've been building this since 1882 and it's still not completed. Gaudí had a beautiful vision and they're trying to finish it up. Although, as I read, some of the original blueprints were lost, I think. The bells were incredibly loud. I turned them down for the video just so it wouldn't hurt your ears, but guys, they were so loud and we got no warning ahead of time, so be aware that if you go up in those towers, you may deal with some very loud ringing bells.
Wait. And another coin pocket. Look at this. Coin.
What are we looking at, Blakely?
Coin pockets. They just have random ledges and people throw their coins down.
Oh my goodness, and we have to go down this now? You don't want to? It's the only way to get down, buddy. There is no elevator. Wow, this is a very tight spiral staircase. It says spiral staircase, and I didn't understand. That's what it looks like going back up. The Sagrada Familia is singularly the most beautiful and unique building that I've ever been in. The design, the architecture, I will admit it's not my favorite personal style, but there's no denying the phenomenal beauty that is captured within this one structure. If there is a place outside of nature that can get you closer to God, I believe the Sagrada Familia captures the essence of nature as God intended and gets you one step closer to perfection. I'm a fan of Gothic architecture, but this is neo-Gothic, not so much neo-Gothic as just pure modernism. And so there's a kind of a late Gothic on one side of the facade, and the other side is completely modern. This is a lot to take in. I can't tell you that design-wise, this is my favorite cathedral that I visited. It is beautiful, and the stained glass is absolutely phenomenal. They're still building it, but you have the overall structure is set. It is completely unique. That's the one thing I can say about it. It is completely unique. But I can't say that it's my favorite cathedral that I've been to. I haven't seen them all, but this one kind of goes mid-tier. If you've never been to it, I suggest you come and see it, but it's a lot to take in.
Started the morning at the Sagrada Familia. The cathedral is very pretty structurally, has beautiful stained glass, but it's kind of empty. After a lot of cathedrals that we've traveled to, abbeys we've seen, it's a bit sterile feeling actually, because there's not much else in here. There's a couple of statues talking about like Matthew and St. Luke, but there's not much else.
I liked walking up the cathedral, but when we had to walk down the spiral stairs, that was scary.
So this is our first stop here in Barcelona. This is the largest draw as far as tourists. About 1 million people come to this site every single year, if not more than that. So we wanted to start our trip and tour of Barcelona here. Now we're gonna head out across the city, see what other wonderful things we can find. We may even make it to the Cathedral of Barcelona, because this basilica is not the Cathedral of Barcelona. So we may try to make it there at some point on this trip. Want to see if we can get down to the water. We're just gonna go out. We have a couple days here, and we're gonna see as much of this city as we possibly can. It's my first time in Spain. Blair's been to Spain before. It's all of our first time in Barcelona. The kids didn't know where we were coming. We just kind of brought them along. So now we're gonna hit up the gift shop here and see what wonderful things we can get to take home to remember this experience. We love to buy magnets and then books also talking about the history of the sites that we go to. You know, we visit a lot of sites, and so when we do that, we always pick up those books. We have a stack of them at home at all the wonderful places that we've been. As with the cathedral, this gift shop was top notch. This is one of the best gift shops I've ever been in. And a lot of them have things that I would call janky and cheap. But here you had ceramics, you had glass pieces, you had art designs, you had wonderful books in multiple languages, top notch. Just to kind of reiterate, I really like this basilica, but it is so unique. However, this particular side, this facade, this side here, which is kind of the late Gothic era look, this side I really like. The other side is very modern. It doesn't appeal to me personally. It's beautiful, but it doesn't appeal to me personally. And then the interior is all modern, like nouveau modern type things. But this side, which is late Gothic, that's what appeals to me because I'm such a fan of Gothic architecture. Okay, so it's time to get some lunch, and my kids, they begged me, I mean, they absolutely begged me to let them eat Taco Bell. I'm letting them eat Taco Bell. Me and Blair, we're not eating Taco Bell. I didn't come to Barcelona to eat Taco Bell. No disrespect to Taco Bell, but no. They're eating Taco Bell, and then Blair and I are gonna find something more appropriate to eat in Barcelona. Blair and I were able to get some great sandwiches made from some of the local meats, cured meats. I love those type things, and that was a nice lunch for us as we sat across from the Sagrada Familia and just watched the pigeons and the people walk by.
Cero.
Zero.
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 Ok, amigo. My friend.
Habla francés y inglés.
Francés e inglés. Pero me parece que sois buenas personas, ¿eh? Creo que sois buenos. ¿O no? ¿Sí? ¿Sois buenos o un poco? Mateo. Mateo, ¿eh? Eres Mateo, Mateo. Ay, Mateo. Eres muy guapo, ¿eh? Mateo, eres muy bonito. Eres un lujo de niño. Eres un chico bonito, elegante. Eres un príncipe de Dios. Para el finito, baby.
We're done.
Para nacer.
Finito. This time. This time you're done.
Wow. Excelente familia.
One of the great things about traveling with kids is that you're traveling with kids and you never know what they're going to do next. The kids saw the revolving door and this became the greatest game in the world for them in that moment in time. In that snapshot in time, there was no other place that they'd rather be doing anything besides what they were doing. So we decided to all enjoy it for just a moment before clearing out of the doorway and let other people go through. Guys, after spending the morning at the Sagrada Familia, we were crashed. Like, we got in late last night and then we decided to go back to the room and then we went to sleep. And we slept for much of the afternoon and now it's the way to nighttime. And we're at the Arena Shopping Center, which is really cool because the whole thing is shaped just like Arena. From the outside it looks really cool, but on the inside it's very circular. We're gonna get something to eat, check out the mall a little bit here, check out the shopping center, see what we get into. Barcelona is a beautiful city at night. The colors and the lights just draw you in. There's this amber glow that just kind of fills the city. It's a very warm color, very inviting. The top of the Arena Shopping Center is really cool. It's a complete circle and it's lined by restaurants. It's really hard to make a decision because they all look so awesome. But we're trying to make that second loop around to pick a restaurant to have some dinner. It's a good place to be in. It's a good decision to have to make. After several minutes of walking and reading menus, we finally made a decision of which restaurant we wanted to try. They were all very similar. They all served very similar dishes, but we picked the one that we thought was the best and we were not disappointed. We started the night with two very different styles of appetizers. We ordered 2 plates of nachos and then a fried seafood basket. This was a great way to start the meal, which led into the paellas. We got a seafood paella and then we also had a chicken paella. These were absolutely delicious. Oh, okay. So we just finished a great, phenomenal dinner here in Barcelona. That was a really great experience. Paella was good, dessert was good, cappuccino. Really, everything was just top notch. The price was about 154 euros, but we ordered a lot of food and the whole family ate really well. We decided to come down to the beach for a quick stroll. It's nighttime, about 11 o'clock, and we're just gonna kind of walk around for a little bit, see what it looks like, and to see if it's worth coming back tomorrow during the day. We know it's gonna be cold, you can't get in the water, but the beach does look pretty nice. It's nice that Barcelona has a beach. It's pretty interesting as well. I think historically it didn't have one, but they put one in, which was a great decision. It really adds to the overall atmosphere of the city. No, we're just gonna walk down the boardwalk here. Here we have a bit of sand art, which looks pretty cool. Move over. Oh, look at that. They actually burn a fire in the mouth of this sea dragon. Yeah. Here's the Temple of Doom.
Should have had a staircase.
Why did they burn it? It looks like this looks really good. It looks like an upgraded version of that.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Time.
We walked along the boardwalk. It's very well constructed, very well lit. We walked about a mile, and it looks like there's more to go, but we're not gonna walk that far. We're starting our second day in Barcelona with a short walk down the street. It's a beautiful day.
While on our early morning walk, we came across a great shopping center. You could tell that this was a shopping center mostly frequented by locals. You didn't have that tourist vibe in here, and I love finding places like that. It has some great places to eat, and food, wines, cheeses, and everything were absolutely magnificent. We couldn't buy most of it, but it just looks so beautiful. Wow, look at these blocks of cheese. We're gonna get to the meat. But start with the blue cheese. Just beautiful. Oh Lord, that one cheese still has like straw on it from the farm. And then
Isn't that deer?
it's venison.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, look at this venison selection. I've only seen this on TV where they carving it straight off. And then you have the legs hanging up here, aged. Oh, this is really beautiful. This is beautiful pastrami. And of course, we just totally ignore the wine and alcohol because that's the same the world over to us because we don't really drink. And then, as this is a coastal city, oh wow, look at this. I'm not familiar with this shrimp. I've never seen that type of shrimp before. You ever seen it before? Like I've seen it inside of our fish tank, but I've never seen the edible size. Squid, mackerel, sardines. Blair has been a lifesaver on this trip because she speaks Spanish. I can't speak a lick of Spanish. I do good when we're in France, but Spain, I'm a no use. So guys, we're starting our second day here in Barcelona. We're heading up to Park Guell. I think it's Gothic Park, really, but I think that's what it is. That's what I'm trying to get to. But the name is kind of hard to pronounce as I don't speak Spanish. There's a line. We couldn't book tickets online because they wouldn't accept our UK information. They wouldn't accept our US information either. So we're gonna see if we can get tickets at the gate. Hopefully we can get in. If this is the park that I think it is, this should be really nice. Hope this goes well. Let's check it out. We were able to get into the park. The tickets at the gate were much cheaper than online, about 50 to 60% cheaper. So that ended up working out in our favor. The park was really magnificent, but very large and up a very massive hill. The park is really unique because it is as though you're walking through one large art piece. Gaudi's work and Dr. Seuss's work is very similar to me. So if you could think that you're inside of a Dr. Seuss book, walking around in that landscape, that's kind of how I felt walking around in this park. One thing that I hope is evident from these pictures and video is that you could see that this park is very large and it's up a big hill and you have to be pretty physically fit if you plan to see all of it. I don't think that is really set up for people who are mobility impaired just to kind of walk through this space. There are a lot of steps involved. We enjoyed it, but it did kind of take a while for us to work our way through it. We spent about 3 hours in the park in total time. Of course, you can cut that time down if you don't go up the very large hill to the top of the park and just kind of work your way around some of the homes that were built by Gaudi. You can shorten your overall time in the park. But if you're going and you really want to have that overall experience, plan on being there for 2 to 3 hours at least to give yourself that great time to experience it. Another thing I would like to note is that there is no parking around this park. So either take a taxi, take a cab, get dropped off, take a shuttle, but there's nowhere to park. We had to park really far away and then walk back up a very large hill to get there.
Blakely, wake up. Blakely, wake up.
And the sailing.
You said what?
The big tin sailing.
Yeah.
Me.
Looks like a reverse egg crate.
It's a boat.
Yeah. Oh, look. Let's go look at these over here.
Glasses. Legos. Legos.
Watch where you step.
Its art style and architectural design is really unique. It uses a lot of stone, natural elements, of course it's ceramics. Now the ceramic element is the broken up tiles and they look pretty good, the pieces there. But it's a very unique art style. You either like it or you kind of don't like it. It's not my favorite art style, but I can definitely admire the architecture that went into designing this entire space. This park really is magnificent. Every gift shop that we passed in Barcelona had these little ceramic lizards or ceramic frogs or ceramic animals. This is all a copy of Gaudi's work, and it was great to go to the park to be able to see where all of those designs were derived from. This was also another great experience, and it kind of helped explain more of how Barcelona and Gaudi are really tied together and how the city still is captured in his architectural design and really displays his artwork everywhere. So we just left the park. It's heading over towards the evening time. It's a beautiful park. It has a whimsical look, especially when you get down to the bottom of it where these houses are. They have somewhat of a Dr. Seuss type appeal to them. The Gaudi style is something that you really have to take in. I've never been in any city that is so much dedicated to one artistic style. You see aspects of it all across the city. Everywhere we go, we see little aspects of Gaudi's type of work or recreations of his style of work. I've never seen this before, so it just speaks to the effect that he had on Barcelona when he lived here. We just finished a great lunch. We had some nice paellas. Matthew and I had a chicken paella. Blair and the kids had a seafood paella. That was really great. But we did make it back into the park. They let us back in. Normally they wouldn't do this, but I think they took pity on us because we speak English. Americans, what do we know, right? So they let us back into the park, which is going to save us so much time because we just walked back to the park, back to our vehicle, bikes going around through the neighborhood, and that would have been a really long walk. Okay guys, so now we're in a really cool part of Barcelona. We're in the Gothic district. It's really tight and narrow down here, but you'll see a lot of old Gothic architecture, a bit of Renaissance architecture, and the streets are very narrow. You can kind of see historically what it used to look like. But I love everything Gothic, so I had to check this out.
The pub literally has dripping glasses.
He does has drip and glasses.
And a tie.
And a tie. So you like that pug more than the frog, but they all look pretty cool. What you think? Oh, I like this pug. Gothic district is really cool. There's all these nice shops. There's some artisan shops. There's art galleries. Just a lot of really cool ceramics, clothing. Just a really nice area for shopping as well.
What is this again?
So these are called espadrilles. These type of shoes, they make them here. I just purchased a pair of handmade espadrilles. So they said that they make all the espadrilles in the shop locally at a workshop. And I'm really excited.
There's so many wonderful, eclectic shops down here. Look at all of this behind me. Here's some more great stuff. And really everywhere you look, just great nice one-off shops. You won't find this stuff anywhere else in the world. Here in the center, like the Gothic region area, we just made it to a basilica, which is Plaza de Saint Joseph. Hope I got that close enough, right? But it's really a beautiful basilica here, and there's all these wonderful shops around it. This appears to be an art district as well. There are so many artist shops. I've never seen so many in one place. We just walked through a really fantastic classical cathedral. I love the design, and then the way they have the different dioramas set up showing the different biblical scenes was really wonderful. It's a great cathedral here in the middle of the Gothic region. I love this area. I wish I got down here sooner. I didn't know it was so entertaining and so vibrant, but this area is really, I want to say, I bet a part of the heart and soul of Barcelona.
There's an art gallery where you can make eye art with your own eye. They take a picture of your eye and then they work their magic.
Take a picture of your iris and create art out of it. And I was like, hey, Blair, let's do just our eyes, you know, kind of do one side by side. I think it'd be a really cool little art edition if we can get that. But we want it on like glass or titanium, which means it'll take a little while to send it to us. But either way, I think this should be really cool. There's just so many great shops here. So today is the start of our third day in Barcelona, and we're actually outside of Barcelona, about an hour south, and we come to see a Roman aqueduct. The Ferreres Aqueduct, which used to supply a Roman town, which used to sit right here. But this aqueduct is over 2,000 years old. Can't pass up an opportunity to see something like this. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. We have seen so many of those. We keep stacking up that list, and this is another one. This aqueduct is really beautiful. You can see it from a distance, and we're kind of going on a hike now to try to get close. This Roman aqueduct is really beautiful because not only can you get near it and see it, you can actually touch it. You know, a lot of these historical sites are kind of walled off, but this one is still very much accessible if you're willing to hike to get to it. This is a really impressive aqueduct. So not only can you see it, but you can actually walk across the top of the aqueduct. And this is such a really impressive experience to be able to walk across a 2,000-year-old bridge.
Right now, we're walking across the aqueduct. Normally, I would freak out a little bit about things like this, but as you can see, Matthew's head doesn't reach out of the aqueduct, so I'm okay. And instead, we're just walking across. Say hi, Blakely, Trey, Braden. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay.
What about me? Hi, Boo Boo Babu.
Don't do that. See? Okay. Cute story. So while we were walking across the aqueduct, the kids saw a collie and they kept asking me questions about what kind of dog is that? Oh, where is it? Have we had one like this? And the answer is actually yes. We did have a collie a couple of years ago. By a couple of years ago, I meant a really long time ago, like when Blakely and Trey were little. We had a collie back then. She was a lot of fun. Great dog. But we also learned that collies weren't for us. A little bit too much activity for us. we prefer we prefer terriers and poodles, so that's what we've always gone towards.
An aqueduct.
What is it for? What was it for?
It was to transport water to the town.
Right, they transported water probably from the mountains or where there was a body of source of water, a river, a stream, mountain runoff. They transported it down to the city, which was actually over there. So it probably was running that way. I was running that way. I don't know at the path. I'd have to look it up. All right, let's go. Blair and I are intent on providing opportunities for our children to grow and explore the world. We want them to understand the history of the world. We want them to understand the present. The history and the present are the bridge to the future. If we can help them understand the history and teach them right now today to understand their present, we're hoping that that will allow them to grow in the ways that they need to grow to be the kind of individual that they need to be or want to be in the future. Okay, so guys, we're finishing up our last day here in Barcelona. It's been a wonderful experience. It's been really great to be in this city. The weather has been perfect. No rain, although it's supposed to rain later on today, but it's been a wonderful experience here in Barcelona. Sagrada Familia, the Guell Park, these things were all wonderful places to go see. Barcelona should be high up on anyone's list to visit. If you haven't been, come to Barcelona.